Shalom. This is to all Israelite groups and all Israelite communities and all breakoffs from One West and breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs. No matter what rainbow uniform you wear, red, white, purple, and white, all white, it don't matter. You should all treat the ISUPK like your weird, misunderstood Sabbaths. You shouldn't do anything until you counsel with the ISUPK. We'll tell you when and what to eat. We'll tell you who to marry. We'll tell you who to have sex with and how. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your wives. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your friends, everybody. We'll tell you when and how to pray. We'll tell you how to direct your life in a way that's pleasing to the Most High God of Israel and our Black King Yahushua, a.k.a. Jesus Christ. We will be to you instead of a God. Just like the Most High told Moses in Exodus 4:16 that Aaron would be to him instead of a mouth and he would be to Aaron instead of a God, that's what we'll do for you. It is what you all need because none of you know what the fuck you are doing. I pray you understand. Shalom.
Hey, Shalom Israel. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. This is the ISUPK Killeen Sabbath service. And with that, I Mijam. La Yashala, which means to Israel. Darwa Hakodom, which means to turn, face the east. This is the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malawaka, Taba'a, Ratazaika, Haya, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Nathanlanawa, Lakum, Ka, Yawam, Wasalatnwa, Kabawafnawa, Kasalatnwa, Kabawafyanawa, Wala'a, Tabaya'ayanawa, Banasai 1, Abal, Hiwashinawa, Mayan, Ra'a, Kaya, Laka, Hamalatwa, Waha'ala, Wahatapara, La'iwalamyum, Aman. In the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. So be it. This is the prayer of the power of the Hakak in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahawashi, Baba Kosha, Nathan Lanawa, Hakak, Larapa'ah, Kal Makala, Wakal Marawa, Hakak, Latahar, Ha Matazarayim, Hakak, Lahakwiyum, Hamathium, Hakak, Al Rakawa, Hata Ma'ala, Lagar Shun, Ba'ashim Yahawashi, Tawada Amun. In the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahawashi, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahawashi, thank you. So be it. This is the prayer to bless Israel. Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahawashi, Barak Lanawa, Wa Yasha'ala, Waha Bayaf Saparium, Barak, Ba'ashim Yahawashi, Tawada Amun. In the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahawashi, bless us and Israel and the school. In the name of Yahawashi, thank you. So be it. This is Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Aisha Ayunya, Ahahariam, Ma'ayan, Yaba'a Azaria, Ma'ain, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'arataza, Al Yathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tizalka, Al Yad, Yamyanka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'a Yakayaka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makar Ra'ai, Yashamar, Afnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazaafka, Wabawa'aka, Ma'athai, Wa'aid Awalam. In the English, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. This is Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, Al Damayalaka, Al Thakarash, Wa Al Thashakwat, Al Kayahanai, Awayabika, Yahama Yawan, Wa Mashanayaka, Sha'ai Wara'ash Al Imaka, Ya'irayum Wa Sawad, Wayata Atazawa, Al Tazapawanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakyadum, Magalia, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham Yasha'ala, Iwad, Kaya, Na'itazawa, Lab Yakadwa, Alyaka, Barya, Yakarthwa, Ahalia, Adawam, Wa Yashama'alyum, Ma Wa'aba, Wa Hagarium, Gabal, Wa Amawan, Wa Amalak, Palashaf, Am Yashabya, Tazawar, Gamashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zarawai, Labanya, Lawat, Salah, Aisha, Laham, Kamadian, Kasaya Sarah, Kayabian, Banakar, Kwayashwan, Na Shamadwa, Ba'ayan Da'ira, Hayawa, Daman, La Adama, Shayathamwa, Na Dayamawa, Ka'arab, Wakazaba, Wakazabak, Wakatazamanai, Kal Nasakamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Na Yarashai, Lanawa, Ah Nawa, Alahayim, Alahaya, Shayathamwa, Kagalgala, Kakwash, La Panya Raka, Ka'ash, Taba Ira Yaira, Waka Lahaba, Thalahat, Haryam Khan, Tharadatma, Basa Irika, Wa Basawapaka, Thabalaham, Mala'a, Panyaham, Kwalawan, Wayaba Kwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Wa Yahabawa, Id Yaid, Wayakaparwa, Waya Abidwa, Wa Yadaiwa, Kaya, Atha, Shamka, Yahawa, Labatka, Al Yawan, Al Kaharataza. In the English, keep not thy silence, O power, and hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur is also joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as unto Sisera, as to Jabin at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, yea, like Zeeb, yea, all their princes, as Zabah and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of the power in possession. O my power, make them like the wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm, and fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. This is the prayer of the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Wa Mayaka Allah, Wa Alahayim, Matazabaya, Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapium, Ha Saranyum, Ha Quatazayanyum, Ha Khayalyum, Waha Akwafian, Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, the Wada Amun. In the English, bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yohana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. These are the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. Listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the Edomites and the nations and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Posse Comitatus, the gay movement, lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space programs, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airwaves, the cable access channels, and the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plagues shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahushai, Michael, and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathen that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media, throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you always. So be it. Sorry, you can turn and face the podium. Shalom, Israel. Last week we left off at I believe it was Exodus 26 and 10. We'll be going back. We'll be going back to that to do the next 49 verses. Where we left off, the Lord, the Most High, was giving Moses the instructions on the design of the tabernacle and the design and the building of the ark. And that's where we left off at, how he wanted it built. He said, don't forget to do all the things of the pattern that you were shown on top of the mount. You understand? That's where the Alahayim were giving, from the Most High, giving Moses the instructions for how to move, the law, how to judge the people. You know what I'm saying? Basically our culture, the culture of so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And so we're going to get back right into that right now. We're going to start off at Exodus chapter 26, verse 10. You should have your Bible Hub app. You understand? Go to the when you open up the app, it's a blue app. You can get it on Google Play. Just Bible Hub, and then go to the interlinear option. When you open up the app, you'll see it right at the bottom. It'll be your bottom right. Click on that, and just it'll show you the Hebrew script. Now the Hebrew script is accurate, but what you see above it in terms of pronunciation, you don't want to really go off of that. That's why you want to come to any of the ISUPK Killeen Lashawan Quadash. ISUPK Lashawan Quadash classes. In our zone is Officer Kalkazai, who does an excellent job every week teaching the Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? Pronunciation and teaching how to read the Paleo and Post-Assyrian script. All right, or excuse me, read the ancient Hebrew and the Post-Assyrian script. All right, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. This is Exodus 26 and 10 in the Hebrew. Wa'ai Shayath Kamashium La La'ath Al Shapath Haya Rayai Salakia Ha Yarai Ya'ai Ha Ha Akkad Salakia Ha Akath Ha Kwaya Tazaniah Ba Ka Barath Wa Kamashium La La'ath Al Shapath Ha Yorai Ya'aiha Ha Kabai Ha Kabarath Ha Shanayath Exodus 26 and 11 Wa'ai Shayath Korah Saya Nakash Salakia Nakash Na Kasha Nakasht Salakia Kamashium Waha Ba'ath Ath Ha Korasium Ba La La'ath Waka Barath Ath Ha Ahal Wa Hayaha Akkad. Verse 12 Wa Sarah Ha'ai Dap Salakia Ha'ai Da'ap Baya Raya Ayath Ha'a Ha'al Katazaya Haya Ra'ai Salakia Hai Haya Raya Aith Ha'ai Depath Dasara All Akaraya Hamashakan. Verse 13 Waha Amaya Maziah Waha Salakia. Waha Amaya Mazaya or Mazaha, excuse me. Ba Adap Ba'araka Ya Raya'ith Ha Aha Yahayaha Sarawaka All Tazadiah Ha Mashakan Mazaha Wa Salakia Wa Mazaya Laka Sataiwa. Verse 14. Wa'ai Shayata Makaisaha La'aha La'aha Irath Ayalam Ma'ai Damayam Wa Makaisaha Irath Thaka Shayam Thashakayam Ma Lama'ai Laha. Verse 15. Wa'ai Salakia. Wa'ai Shayath Salakia. Wa'ai Shayat Salakia. Wa'ai Shayathaya. No, Wa'ai Wa'ai Shayata. Wa'ai Shayata. Ah. Ha Quaritium. La Mashakan. Itazaya. Salakia. Salakia, y'all. Give me 1 second. Salakia. Lata Salakia. La Mashakan. Itazaya. Shatayim. Amidium. Verse 16. Ishara. Amawath or Irika. Hakwadash. Salakia. Hakwadash. Wa Amawa. Salakia. Wa Amaha. Or Salakia. Wa Ama. Waka Tazaya. Ha Salakia. Ha Amaha. Rakab. Ha Quarash. Ha Akkad. Verse 17. Shethiah, Yadawath, La Quarash, Ha-Akkad, Ma Shalai Shalakia, Ma Shalakath, Asha, Asha, all, Akatha, Khan, the Aisha, Lakal, Horashia, Ha Mashakan. All right, we're reading the English. This is Exodus 26 and 10. And thou shalt make 50 loops on the edge of the one curtain that is outmost in the coupling, and 50 loops in the edge of the curtain which coupleth the second. And thou shalt make 50 taches of brass, and put the taches into loops, and couple the tent together, that it may be one. And the remnant that remaineth of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remaineth, shall hang over the back side of the tabernacle, and a cubit on the one side, and a cubit on the other side of that which remains in the length of the curtains of the tent. It shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle on this side and on that side to cover it. And thou shalt make covering for the tent of ram skins, dyeing red, and a covering above of badger skins. Hold on, I might be at the wrong. Let me see. And thou shalt make boards for the tabernacle of shittim wood standing up. 10 cubits shall be the length of a board, and a cubit and a half shall be the breadth of one board. And 2 tenons shall there be in one board, set in order, one against the other. Thus shalt thou make for all the boards of the tabernacle. Hold on, y'all, 1 second. I may have started off at the wrong location. Salakia. Give me 1 second. I mean, I did, y'all. Salakia. I'm supposed to be at 21. Salakia. Well. This felt familiar. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and knock out 14 just so we can catch up. Starting at Exodus. Exodus 2021, Salakia. All right. Salakia. Salakia. Rabayim. Adanayahum. Kasap. Shanya. Adanayim. Thakath. Ha-Quarash. Ha-Akkad. Wa-Shanaya. Adanayim. Thakath. Ha-Quarash. Ha-Akkad. Verse 22. Wala Yorai Kathai Salakia. Wala Yorai Kathaya. Ha Mashakan. Ya Yamaya. Yamaiha. The Aishaha. Shashaha. Shashaha. Quorashium. Wa Shania, Quorashium, the Aisha, Lama Quataza I, Ha Mashakan, Baya Rakaithayum. Verse 24, Waya Hayawa, the Imayum, Ma Lama Ta, Ma Lamat her, Lamat her, Waya Salakia, Wa Yaka Dawa, Ya Haya Wa, Tamayum, all Ra'ashua, all Ha Taba'ith, Ha Akath, excuse me, Khan, Ya Hay Yaha Yaha, La Shanai, La Shanayim, La Shanaya, Ha Makwa Taza'ith, Yahaya Yahai Yahai Yahaya Wa, Wa Hayawa, Shah Maniah, Quorashium, Wa'a Lanai, Wa Adonayim, Adonahayim, Kasap, Shashaha, Ashar, Ishar, Adonayim, Shanya, Adonayim, the Kath, HaQuarash, HaAkad, Wa Shanaya, Adonayim, the Kath, HaQuarash, HaAkad. Verse 26. Wa Aishayath, Ba Rayakam, Aisha Itazaya, Shatayim, Kamash, Lakwa Rayasha, Tazala'ai, Salakia, Tazala'ai, Ha Mashakan, Ha Akad. Verse 27, Waka Mashaya, Barai, Salakia, Barayakam, La Quarashia, La Quarashia, Tazala'ai, Ha Mashakan, Ha Shanayat, Ha Shanayatha, Waka Mashaya, Masha, Salakia. Barayakam, La Quarashia, Tazala'ai, Ha Mashakan, La Yorakatayam, Yama'ai, Yamaha, Salaki. Verse 28, Waha Barayaka, Hata Yakain, Salakia, Ha Dayakan, Ba Thawak, Ha Quarashium, Mabarayaka, Man, Ha Quatazaha, all, Ha Quatazaha. Verse 29, Wa'ath, Hakwa Rishayim, the Tazapah, Zahab, Wa'ath, Taba'ai Thayahum, the Aishia, Sahab, Bathayim, Laba Rayakum, Wataza Payath, Ath, Ha Barayakum, Zahab. Verse 30. Waha Quamath, Ath, Ha Mashakan, Ka Mashai Pataiwa, Ashar, Hara'ayath, Ha Salakia, Ha Ra'ayath, Bahar. Verse 31. Wa'aishayath, Salakia, Wa'ayashath, Parakath, Thakalath, Ra'a, Salakia, Wa'a Ragaiman, Wa'a Ragayaman, Wa the Wa La'aith, Shanya, Wa Shasha, Ma Shazar, Ma Shazar, Ma Aisha, Kashab, Ya Aisha, Athaha, Karabium. Verse 32. Wanathaha, Atha, Al, Arabai, I Mawadaya, Shatayim, Mataza Payam, Zahab, Wa Wayakam, Salakia, Wa Wayahum, Zahab, All, Arabaya, Adonaiah, Kasap. Verse 33. Wanath Thaiha, All, Hapa Rakath, Thakath, Ha Quoritium, Wa Habaath, Shamaha, Salakia, Shama, Ma Bayath, La Parath, La Parath, La Parakath, Ath, Arawan, Ha Ida, Ha Ida, Ha Ida, Ha Ida Wath, Waha Badai Laha, Hapa Rakath, Lakam, Ban, Hakwadash, Wabayan, Quadash, Ha Quadashium. Verse 34. Wanatha Salakia, Wa Natha, Ath, Hakaparath, All, Arawan, Ha Idath, Ba Quadash, HaQuadashim. Yo, Salakia for that, y'all. I was a grave error even in the title. The wrong verses, Salakia. This is verse 21 to 26 and 34. And there are 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. For the sides of the tabernacle westward, thou shalt make 6 boards, and 2 boards shalt thou make for the corners of the tabernacles and the 2 sides. And they shall be coupled together beneath, and they shall be coupled together above the head of it unto one ring. Thus shall it be for them both. They shall be for the 2 corners. And they shall be 8 boards, and their sockets of silver, 16 sockets, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And thou shalt make bars of shittim wood, 5 for the boards of the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the side of the tabernacle for the 2 sides westward. And the middle bar in the midst of the board shall reach from end to end. And thou shalt overlay the boards with gold, and make their rings of gold for places of the bars. And thou shalt overlay the bars with gold. And thou shalt rear up the tabernacle according to the fashion thereof, which was showed thee in the mount. You know, he keeps getting that, he keeps getting reiterated about this needs to look exactly the way that I showed you in the mount. You understand? Like the pattern that was shown to him. Verse 31, and thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twined linen of cunning work with cherubims shall it be made. Shout out to Officer Gadiwan. Verse 32, and thou shalt hang it upon 4 pillars of shittim wood, overlaid with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold, upon the 4 sockets of silver. Verse 33, and thou shalt hang up the veil under the taches, that thou mayest bring in thither within the veil of the ark of the testimony. And the veil shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy. So this is describing in the tabernacle the partition between where, you know, you had the holy place where the ark of the testimony was located at. This is the inner structure of the tabernacle. In this particular section, the ark of the testimony is in this one place, but then beyond that, where the high priest once a year would go into the most holy place, there was a veil or a partition between the holy place and then the most holy place, right? I don't know if I should even say this, but I believe I heard Captain Yadazak teach this, that the priests had to wear bells on their, like, it was part of their garment attire to have, like, wear bells on their garment, because when the high priest would go into the most holy place, the only way to know if he was dead is, you know what I mean, if the bells stopped moving or if he fell and they heard the bells to go and get him up out of there. But this was a serious setup, you understand, that the Lord had Moses setting up. This was, you know, for lack of a better phrase, on earth as it is in heaven. You understand? It was a pattern or a shadow, you know what I'm saying, of, you know what I'm saying, where the Most High dwells at in the fourth. But this is how the Lord wanted Moses to have this set up. You know what I'm saying? He was giving him specific orders and specifications on how to structure this thing. There wasn't nowhere to deviate. The Lord had it. I mean, that show you how the Most High is. You know what I'm saying? We should know that just from creation, how particular he is about, you know, when you look at particular insects or how they're designed, and fish, and, you know what I'm saying, trees and different things, and just humans, how our bodies are structured. Like, the Lord is very particular, and he was very particular about the place for him to be served and worshiped. Right. Right. And then it says, verse 33, and read again, and thou shalt hang up the veil under the taches, that thou mayest bring in thither within the veil the ark of the testimony, and the veil shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy. Okay, so Salakia, the ark was actually in the most holy place, and the veil separated that from the space between the holy and the most holy. All right. So the ark of the testimony was in the most holy place. And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. All right, let's go ahead and we're gonna knock out another 14 to catch up, so I can get back in the stream. Salakia. Quick. All right. Emmanuel, I don't know who you are, what you on, but no sweat. All right, this is Exodus 26:35 in the Hebrew. Washamath, Ath, Ha, Shalayakun, Ma, Kawataza, Ma Kawataza, La Parakath, Wa'ath, Ha, Manai Raha, Nakaka, Ha Shalakan, All Tazalai, Ha Mashakan, Thaya Manaha, Wa Hashalakan, Tan, All Tazalai, Tazapawan. Verse 36. Wa'ai Shayath, Mashak, Lapata, Ha'aho, Thakal, Salakia, Thakalath, Wa'a, Salakia, Wa'a Ragaman, Wata, Wala'ith, Shanya, Wa Shasha, Ma Shazar, Ma'ai Shaha, Raquayum. Salaki, y'all. Give me 1 second. All right. Salaki. Wa'ai Shayath, Lama, Saka, Ha, Mashaha, I Mawa, Daya, Shatayim, Wataza, Payath, Atham, Zahab, Wayahum, Zahab, Yataza Kwath, Lahum, Ha, Mashaya, Adonaiah, Nakashta, Nakashta, Nakashta. Exodus 27:1. Wa'ai Shayath, Ha, Mazab, Salakia Ha, Mazabka, Itazayah, Shatayim, Kamash, Amawath, Arak, Wa Kamash, Amawath, Rakaib, Rabbi Wa'ai, Yaha, Ha Mazabka, Washa, Salakia, Wa Shalash, Amawath, Quamathwa, verse Exodus 27, verse 2. Wa'ai Shayath, Korah, Nathaiwa, all Arabai, Panath Yawa, Ma Manaiwa, Taha Ya Salakia, Taha Tanaya, Korah, Nathaiwa, Wataza Payath, Athaiwa, Nakashta, verse 3. Wa'aisha, Salakia, Wa'aishayath, Sayah Rathaiwa, Lada Shanaiwa, Wa Ya'aiwa, Wa Mazah Rakwathayawa, Wa Mai Zala Gathayawa, Wa Makathayawa, Lakal, Kalayawa, the Aisha, Nakashta. Verse 4. Wa'ai Sha'ath La'a Makah Bara Ma'aisha Rashath Nakash Salakia Nakashta Wa'ai Salakia Wa'ai Shayath all Ha Rashath Arabai Taba'ith Nakashta all Arabai Quataza Wathayawa. Verse 5. Wanath Thaha Athaha Thakath Karakab Hamad Zabah Salakia Hamad Zabakah Malah Mataha Waha Yathaya Ha Rashath Aid Katazaya Hama Salakia Hama Zabakah. Verse 6. Wa'ai Shayath Badayim La Mazabat Salakia La Mazabakah La Mazabakah Badaya Tazaya Shatayim Wataza Payath Atham Nakashta. Verse 7. Waha Waba'a Badayawa Bata Ba'ith Waha Yawa Habadayim all Shanya Tazala'ai Ha Mazabka Basha'ai Athawa. Verse 8. Na Bayab Lakath the Aishata no the Aishaha Athawa Ka'ashar Ha Ra'aya Athaka Bahar Khan Ya'aishawa. Verse 9. Wa'aishayata Ath Katazara Ha Mashakan Lapa'ath Nagab the Yamai no Kwala'ayim La Katazara Shasha Ma Shazar Ma Aha Ba Ama Arak Lapa'a Lapaha Ha Akath. Verse 10, 27 and 10, Salakia. Wa I Madayawa I Sharayim Wa I deny the Salakia. Wa I deny Salakia. Wa Adai A Salakia. Wa I deny Yatham. No. Wa Adai Wa I deny hum. I Sharayim Nakashta Wa Waya Ha I Madayim Waka Shapa Salakia Waka Shakwai Yaham Kasap. Verse 11. Wakan Lapa'ath Tazapawan Ba'arak Kwala'ayim Maha Arak Wa'ai Mawa Dayawa I Sharayim Wa'ai Denayim I Sharayim Nakashta Wa Waya Ha'ai Madayim Waka Shakwai Salakia Waka Shakwai Yahum Kasap. All right, Salakia, this is going to be Exodus 26, 35 to 27 and 11. And thou shalt set the tabernacle without the veil and the candlestick over against the table on the side of the tabernacle toward the south. And thou shalt put the table on the north side, and thou shalt make a hanging for the door of the tent of blue, purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen, wrought with needlework. And thou shalt make for the hanging 5 pillars of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, and their hooks shall be of gold. And thou shalt cast 5 sockets of brass for them. 27 and verse 1. And thou shalt make an altar of shittim wood, 5 cubits long, 5 cubits abroad. The altar shall be 4 square, and the height thereof shall be 3 cubits. And thou shalt make the horns of it upon the 4 corners thereof. His horns shall be of the same, and thou shalt overlay it with brass. You know, if you actually picture this, it's like, it's ill. You know what I'm saying? And thou shalt make his pans to receive his ashes, and his shovels, and his basins, and his flesh hooks, and his fire pans, all the vessels thereof shalt thou make of brass. Like what he's talking about here, um, to receive his ashes is talking about like the burnt offerings. You understand? The shovels, that's to shovel the ashes, right? The basins, that's where, you know, the blood work was done. You know what I'm saying? Like the slaughtering. You know, if you came out to the Passover, uh, the 55th Passover that we just, the Lord's Passover that we just had in Atlanta, you know, during the lamb slaughter, they were, you know, they had the work separated over in a particular area, but, you know, the brothers had on full, like, you know, I don't know what they call those suits. They look like hazmat suits. You understand? Because it was just blood. It was blood everywhere. You understand? So the basins were for like the blood and the flesh hooks to be able to, like, you know, flesh hooks are like, I don't know if you ever seen like like old butchers, like I know like upstate New York on the East Coast, you see a lot of that. But like they have like the little metal hooks that they do to move the meat. You understand? And to get the hooks out, you know, the meat up out of the basins. It's like these are big pieces of meat because you're slaughtering goats, lambs, uh, bulls, right? So these are all the vessels of the priest. So priest work was bloody work. You understand? It was holy work, but it was bloody work. And you know, you got to remember that a lot of times these sisters be trying to come up into the, you know, and I mean when I'm saying sisters, I mean the Christian church. They want to call themselves ministers of God and so on and so forth, but you know, you couldn't, a woman couldn't be a priest. You understand? She could assist, maybe, you know, a priest assist to assist. Like, you know, you heard about that with I think her name was Anna, and her husband was a priest in the temple at the time of Christ. But the work of priests was manly, bloody work. You understand? And the Lord had all this mapped out, right? Verse 4, and thou shalt make for it a grate of network of brass, and upon the net shalt thou make 4 brazen rings in the 4 corners thereof. And thou shalt put it under the compass of the altar beneath, that the net may be even to the midst of the altar. And thou shalt make staves for the altar, staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with brass. And the staves shall be put into the rings, and the staves shall be upon the 2 sides of the altar to bear it. I don't know if this was last week, but I was talking about how the Lord structured everything to where if they had to move to a different location, because, you know, when they came out the wilderness, the Lord would have them in an area for a particular period of time, and then he would have them move. So the way he had them structure the tabernacle, because this wasn't the place where, you know, like when Solomon ended up building the temple, that's because it wasn't going to move. So the structure of the temple was like different. But as far as the tabernacle, things had to be built so it could be broken down easily. Like it's like how we break down camp. You know what I'm saying? We go to camp, we gotta, break it down. They had to break down the tabernacle. You understand, and have it in a way to where, you know, the things that were important could be carried and not damaged. You know what I'm saying? That's why we got the equipment department. This is the equipment department. You understand? Salakia. Where we at? Verse 8. Hollow with boards shalt thou make it, as it was showed thee in the mount. Keep saying that. This, you know, in the school, you have the men above. Like when I first came in, especially like I mean everybody would say it, but what stands out in my mind is Captain Debar Amath. You know what I'm saying? He would always reiterate, never teach something that you weren't taught. You know what I'm saying? And whatever you do in terms of, you know, your representation, remember you're representing the school. Like, do the thing that you were shown, that you were taught to do. You know what I'm saying? Or General Mahaiman, Captain Kahan, of course, Commander General Yohana, you know, remember your training. These are reiterations of that. Whatever you see in the ISUPK, we get it out of our records. You understand the spirit of it, I'm saying, right? He's reminding him, as you were shown on the mount, that's how it needs to be done. You know, this is how it needs to be structured. You understand? All right, verse 9. Thou shalt make the court of the tabernacle for the south side southward. There shall be hangings for the cord of fine twined linen of 100 cubits long for one side, and the 20 pillars thereof, and their 20 sockets shall be of brass. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets shall be of silver. And likewise for the north side in length there shall be hangings of 100 cubits long, and his 20 pillars and their 20 sockets of brass, the hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver. All right. So that's what. Give me a second, y'all. Salakia. If y'all got any questions or anything while I'm oh yeah, shout out to you, Itazagabar. I think you on the way to war with the brothers in OKC, Most High in Christ. Most High in Christ. Y'all give me 1 second. If y'all have any questions about anything, you can post in the chat. I just gotta Salaki, y'all. I gotta get this in order. Okay. So I'm gonna do these next in we got 21 more verses. I'm gonna do them in sets of 7 in the Hebrew. All right. Yeah, we still on good time. All right. All right. Let me get back to that. So we're starting at 27 and 12. All right. And for Salakia, Wara, Wa, Rakab, Ha, Hatazara, La Pa'ath, Yum, Kwa La'ayim, Kamashium, Maha, or Salakia, Ama, I Madayahum, I Shara, I Denayim, I Shara. Verse 13, Wa Rakab, Ha Hatazara, La Pa'ath, Quadama, Salakia, Quadama, Quadama, Mazarakaya, Salakia, Mazarakaya, Kamash, Ama. Verse 14, Wa Kamash, Aishara, Ama, Kuala Ayam, Salaki, Kuala Ayam, La Kapath, Salakia, La Kathaipa, La Kathapa, I Madayam, Shalash, Wa'a Denayim, Shalash. Verse 15, Wala Kathaipa, Ha Shanaya, Kamash, Aishara, Kuala Ayam, Salakia, Amadayam, Shalash. Wa'a denayim. Shalash. Verse 16. Wa lashai. Wa lashai. Salakia. Wa lashaira. Ha katazara. Mashak. I Shirayim. Ama. Tha Kalath. Wa'a Ragaiman. Wa the Wa La'ai. Shanya. Wa Shasha. Ma Shazar. Ma'aishaha. Raquayum. Salakia. I Madayahum. Arabai. Wa Adai Wa Adai Wa Adai Wa Adai Nayum. Arabai. Verse 17. 27 and 17. Call. A Mawadaya. Ha Katazara. Sabayab. Maka Shakwayam. Kasap. Wa Wayam. Kasap. Wa Adai Salaki. Wa Adai Nayam. Nakashta. Verse 18. Arak. Ha Katazara. Ma'a. Ba Ama. Wa Rakab. Hashemashium. Ba Hashemashium. Wa Kwama. Hashemash. Amawath. Shasha. Ma Shazar. Wa Adanayim. Nakashta. Verse 19. Lakal. Kalaya. Ha Mashakan. Bakal. I Badai Thayawa. I abide Yathayawa. Wakal. Yatha Dathayawa. Wakal. Yatha Datha. Salaki Yatha Dath. Ha Katazara. Nakashta. Verse 12, chapter 27, verse 12 in the English. And for the breadth of the court on the west side shall be hangings of 50 cubits, their pillars 10, and their sockets 10, and the breadth of the court on the east side, eastward, shall be 50 cubits. The hangings of one side of the gate shall be 15 cubits, their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. And on the other side shall be hangings 15 cubits, their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. And for the gate of the court shall be a hanging of 20 cubits of blue, purple, scarlet, fine twined linen, wrought with needlework, and their pillars shall be 4, and their sockets 4. And all the pillars round about the court shall be filleted with silver. Their hooks shall be of silver, and their sockets shall be of brass. The length of the court shall be 100 cubits, and the breadth 50 everywhere, and the height 5 cubits of fine twined linen, and their sockets of brass. All the vessels of the tabernacle, and all the service thereof, and all the pins thereof, and all the pins of the court shall be of brass. All right. just more instructions on the structure of the tabernacle, right? How it's set up. This is verse 20, another 7. Actually, I'll be going to oh, that's right. This the last one, I think. I think. Yeah, I believe so. Let's go ahead. Salakia. Wa'atha. The Taza Waha Salakia. The Taza Wa Ah Banya Yasha'ala Wayakwa Koa Alyaka Shaman Zayath Zakah Katayat Kayat Salakia Katayath La Amawar La Ha'ailath Nar Na'ar Na Salakia Nara Salakia Thamayad verse 21 Ba'ahal Ma Wa'id Ma Kawataza Ma Kawataza La Paraka La Parakath Ashar All Ha'ai Ha'aidath Ha'aidatha Ya'iraka Athawa Aharon Waba Nayaiwa Ma'ira Ba Aid Bakwar La Penya Yahweh Kapath Awalam Lada Dathayim Ma'ath Banya Yasha'ala. Exodus 28:1. Wa'athaha Hakorab Alyaka Oth Aharon Kaya Salakia Ak Salakia Ak Yaka Wa'ath Ba Banya Salakia Ba Salakia Ba Nayaiwa Banyawa Athawa Mathawaka Banya Yasha'ala La Kahanwa Laya Aharon Nadab Salakia Nadab Wa Abai Yaha Waha Wa Abai Yaha Wa'a Ala Izar Wa'a Yathaimar Banya Aharon. Exodus 28:2. Salakia. Okay. No problem. All right. Shaya Bagadia Quadash Laharan Akaya Akia Akiaka Laka Badaiwa Salakia Laka Bawad Wala Thapirath Wala La Lata Parath Lata Parath Wa'aithaha the Abar all call Kamakia Lob Ashar Mala'ithayawa Mala'athayawa Rawak Hakama Salakia Kamak Salakia Kamak Wa Aishawa Bagadaya Aharan La Quadash La Quadashwa La Kahainawa Laya Wa Alaha Haba Gadayim Ashar Ya Aishawa Kashan Wa Pawad Wa Ma'ayo Waka Thanak Waka Thanath Tashab Taza Mataza Napath Wa'a Banat or Wa'a Banata Wa'aishawa Bagadaya Quadash La Aharan Akayaka or Akyaka Wa Labanya Lakahanwa Laya. All right, Salakia. This is Exodus 27 and 19, and it says, all the vessels of the tabernacle and all the Salakia, verse 20. And thou shalt command the children of Israel that they bring thee pure olive oil beaten for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always. So, Salakia, y'all, was kind of off today, Salakia. But I want to bring this up too because of I had a conversation with my daughter. She's in the school. But anyways, she was talking to me about a situation, and it just reminded me of, what General Mayak said about, how you guys do your weird Sabbath observe your weird Sabbaths by, doing nothing, cooking nothing, right? And my sister was told that, she was around some people that were not, or who are not under the ISUPK. You understand? And if you're not in the ISUPK, you're not going to get the right education. You understand? You're going to be operating basically as a Christian, taking the Bible literally, or, and not having the correct guidance and the spirit of what's being said in the scriptures. You have to be taught by the prophets, by the priests. You can't just pick up a Bible and just assume that you understand what's in the Bible, what's being written. You would never pick up a book on heart surgery or brain surgery and assume you just understand what you're reading. But people feel like the creator of heaven and earth and the records that he left, his prophets, that they could just pick it up and understand what's being said. And it's a level of pride and arrogance that's really is unbeknownst, or it's unknown to the person that's doing it. They just feel like the Bible is accessible for any and everybody, right? Because they believe God loves everybody and God talks to everybody. So of course God's going to tell me what this means, right? And that's not the case. At any rate, it was implied to her that she can't cook or light fires, and the person speaking to her brings up the story about the brother gathering the sticks to kindle a fire, right? And if you've been in any of our classes, you would know this was not talking about a single man. The man who was gathering the sticks was not a man just picking up sticks off the ground and they threw them in, a temporary holding cell to find out what they would do. This was a man who had servants. You understand? So for him, gathering sticks was sending out workers, servants in large number, like employees, to go and chop down trees and do work. So this wasn't just him by himself. It said they found a man gathering sticks, but you got to think, we always think about, that's why we call people individualites, because they always think about things from an individual level. But a lot of the laws that were dealing with the Sabbath was dealing with you making somebody else work. Not about you actually doing something, but you making somebody else do it. Like not giving them a day off, right? To do the things that for the Lord, or to do things to rest for themselves. That's the context or the spirit of it. All right. So, my daughter, she was telling me about how they were coming to her saying that, we have to eat cold food for the next 2 days because you can't light anything, which is crazy because, kindle a fire, but they'll turn the light on in their room though. You know what I'm saying? They don't turn the TV off. They're still on their phones, watching stuff on the phones as if that's not electricity, kindling, a spark or whatever. But this is my point. Right here it says in verse 20, and thou shalt command the children of Israel that they bring thee pure olive oil beaten for the light, meaning that the children of Israel were to provide the oil for the lamps in the tabernacle because the light was not to go out. So that means that the priests on the Sabbath were doing what? Lighting fires, kindling fires. You understand? And this is why I think I said it last week where Christ was saying that, do not the priests profane the Sabbath every Sabbath. That's telling you that there's context to this. You understand? So no, it's not unlawful for you if you're in your home on the Sabbath to cook food. Now I know the individualites and Christian Israelites are going to be in an uproar and you going against the commandments, but they don't understand the law, the spirit of the law. They don't understand the priesthood because they're not part of a priesthood. They throw on white garments and just how people would do for church on Communion Day, getting all white and think that that's what the Israelites was doing. And it's just, you have to be educated by the men of the Lord. You can't just come into this thing and, freestyle off what you read. You understand? You can cook for your family. You understand? Like, and the issue was that my daughter had just had a baby, which was insane to me how, Jinnah Muhammad's always talking about like the lack of wisdom when it comes to these people who they end up oppressing their children because they don't understand the Bible. And it was told to my daughter that you can't heat up anything because you're going to go against the commandments. And I'm like, I spoke to her. I was like, well, did you make the bottle for the for the baby? She's like, yeah, I did. I'm like, okay, all right. You know what I'm saying? And then I think she told me that someone told her that the Lord was winking at her for cooking on the Sabbath or something like that. I thought the irony of that, the Lord winking at her. Good night. Anyways, Christ said this, and this is the part I don't get. You leave Christianity and you come into the truth, and then you become like a Pharisee, right? You're not in the truth, but then you come into the truth and you're still functioning like a Pharisee. Christ said that the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. I don't see how, I don't get how people don't comprehend what Christ was saying, meaning that the Sabbath day is not there to oppress you. You're already being oppressed by the oppressor 6 days a week. That day is for you to either do the work of the Lord. If you're a priest, now we have duties, right, to the Lord. And then after we get done with our duties, the day is for ourselves. But if you're not a priest, and you're not part of the priesthood, and you take that day to have a good time with your wife, you know what I'm saying? The what is it called? The sweet rest. Or I forget the precept, but the pleasure that comes with sleep. That's how it go. If you want to do that with your rib, it's lawful. You understand? If you want to cook barbecue for your family, right? That's lawful. If you want to mow the lawn, if you want to do laundry, you can do all of those things on the Sabbath. Now you have the imposter who, what does he do? He hires blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to do those. The person that calls himself the Jewish man, he hires blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to do the work for him, to cut off the lights, to cook and bring food and things like that, thinking that makes them exempt. You know what I'm saying? When that lets you know they don't even know the spirit of the law, because if you know that the Lord doesn't want you doing anything, why would you make somebody else do something? And people are taking their cues from, Amalekites. They're from imposters, Khazarians. And we're supposed to take our cues from our fathers. You know what I'm saying? Whose are the fathers? You know what I'm saying? From, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the prophets that the Lord chose amongst the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. And, you know what I'm saying? And from Christ, who without Christ, we wouldn't even be able to understand the law. You understand? So when Christ says that the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath, meaning that the Lord didn't make man to serve the Sabbath. He made the Sabbath to serve man, to give us a break, a day off. Because if the oppressor had his way, we would be working, probably 20 hours a day, every day, or maybe even 23 hours a day with an hour nap and get right back to it. I said 20 because maybe they want, I guess, to get a little 4-hour rest period before we get back up slaving again. But basically, we would be in hell forever. We would get no rest. And the Lord came to give us rest. And that's why he says to take your spirit out of this place, because this is not our rest. Our rest is when we're in rulership. And why? We're resting on the labor of the other nations. We don't have to worry about going to a slave. All we'll have to worry about is serving the Lord in whatever capacity that he sees fit. All right? Salakia. I don't know. Verse 20. And thou shalt command the children of Israel that they bring thee pure olive oil beaten for the light, and cause the lamp to burn always. So they had to bring, all the children of Israel had to supply the tabernacle and the priest with olive oil, so the light would always keep burning in the tabernacle. Verse 21, in the tabernacle of the congregation without the veil, which is before the testimony, Aaron and his sons shall order it from evening to morning before the Lord. It shall be a statute forever unto their generations on the behalf of the children of Israel. What's he saying? That Aaron, who was, Moses' brother, a Levite, the sons of Aaron out of the tribe of Levi, who were separated from all the children of Israel to do the service of the Lord in the tabernacle and in the temple was because when that rebellion took place and Moses asked who will stand with the Lord, the Levites, the Haitians, so-called Haitians, what you call the Haitians today, they were the first ones to go and stand with Moses. Now, you could say that is because Moses was a Levite, it was family. I don't, whatever, it doesn't matter what the reason was. When the Lord saw that, he marked them off to be the ones to serve him in the temple, which makes perfect sense to me. You know what I mean? The first person to show their loyalty for service is who you assign to do the service, because the spirit that's in them. You know what I'm saying? Now this happened because of the rebellion of you know what I'm saying? The rebellion that took place, right? Trying to rise up against Moses and everything, right? And the Levites sided with Moses and the Lord. But initially the Lord had said he wanted to make us a kingdom and a nation of priests. That initially all tribes was going to be part of the priesthood. But because of what occurred, he separated the Levites, and within the Levites separated Aaron and his sons to do the work within inside of the tabernacle, right, into like the holy place and the most holy place. All right, and that was a statute; it was law. You know what I'm saying? Now we're not under that no more. We're under the order of Melchizedek. We're not under the order of Aaron in terms of the priesthood anymore. We're under the order of Melchizedek, and it's by oath, meaning that any man who comes to serve the Lord, if he comes in by oath, no matter what tribe he's from, he could be a priest unto the Lord. And you see that in Revelations 5 and 10, where it says, I'm paraphrasing, but you have made us unto our God kings and priests, right? Kings and priests, right? Because Melchizedek was a what? He was a king, right? The king of Salem, right? But he also was a priest unto the Lord, right? Okay. All right, let's keep going. Exodus chapter 28, verse 1. And take thou unto thee Aaron thy brother and his sons with him from among the children of Israel, that he may minister unto me in the priest office, even Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, Aaron's sons. And thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron. A lot of times, man, these like people watch our videos and they see what we wear, and they call us like Power Rangers, or I was looking at one comment. It was a video that I was in on the gram or something, and the dude was like, "What are you, like Liu Kang?" You know what I'm saying? They was calling us, pro wrestlers, things like that, right? And of course, he responded and said, "These are priest garments. They ain't how the priest look. That ain't how no Israelite look. It's exactly how it looked. You understand? The priest was not looking like effeminate, with dainty white garments and sandals. You know what I'm saying? We were men of war. We came out of Egypt as an army, and we were men of war, and the priests were men of war. Like I said, the priests were like butchers. They were slaughtering lamb, goat, bullocks, right? I don't know if you ever been to Texas. You see them large bulls. That's what they were slaughtering. And these were men who, if you got to cut through bone and gristle and flesh and tendon and sinew, you understand? These are not men of like how you see like these Catholic priests. That's what they think that the priests look like, with these Catholic priests when they're effeminate robes and big old hats and all clean. No, the temple got bloody. You understand? And the heavy part is that without the shedding of blood, there's no remission of sins. The process. People think salvation is like this. I just say something with my mouth, and then that's what it is. When even Christ dying was bloody work. You understand? It was a bloody thing for us to gain access, back to the Most High again, for his children, the children of Israel, to gain back you know what I'm saying, access to him again because we were cut off because of breaking the first covenant. So in him establishing the new covenant, he took his best son and slaughtered him, had him slaughtered. You know what I'm saying? A sheep that was, you know what I mean, that was slaughtered that, you know, spoke no words. He didn't say anything. He just went there as a, you know, I hate to use the word dumb because I wouldn't want to use that word with Christ, but dumb just meaning in the old English term, meaning who didn't speak. You know what I'm saying? He said he learned obedience, even though him being a son, learned obedience through death. So what I'm saying is that blood and death was what gave us access to make it right with the Lord. So you can't never look at this thing like it's just that easy, you know, to serve the Lord. Like there's no cost that comes with it. There's always a price, and the price is blood. That's why when it, you know, when it says that you were bought with the price, this ain't talking about everybody. This ain't talking about these other nations. I'm talking to so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. When it says that you were bought with the price, that price was blood. It was death. It was the life. It was a life for lives. I mean, that's why he's called the Lamb of God. You understand? This is not like a, you know, this ain't I don't know how to put it, but people make it like a magical thing. Like me and Gadawan was on we were on a debate on what's it called, Discord, and we were speaking with or we were in a room. We were speaking with some I think they were Catholics, and I forget the term that they used, but they believe that when they ate the, you know how they do communion, when they ate the wafer, that it actually in the mouth became the body of, or the flesh of Christ. And that when they drink the wine, that when it gets into their mouth, it actually becomes the blood of Christ. They called it trans something. I forget it was called, like basically where it would change form in their mouth. You know, this is why Paul went to our people in Corinth and in Galatia and in Ephesus, because we were operating under Greek ideologies, man. You know what I'm saying? That sounds like some Dionysus stuff. You understand? You know, he was the god of wine and pleasure and all that. That's what it sounds like, man. You understand? Some Greek nonsense. You know what I'm saying? The whole point about Passover, we're not, when we have the lamb slaughter, it's just to give our people lamb to eat, because that's what's required in the memorial of Passover. We're not killing animals to cover our sins. We believe on Christ. Okay? But like what in 1 Corinthians 10, when Paul was talking to the Corinthians, he had to remind them of who they were and their heritage. He wasn't talking to white people. He wasn't talking to actual Greeks like Alexander. He was talking to Israelites that had been remaining over from the Greek captivity. You know, a lot of times Christians think the Old Testament stops at Malachi, but they've left out the Maccabees, which is the history of, you know, when Alexander took power, and after he died, he left, you know, he split up his what he was ruling over to his 4 generals. And you know, as always, because we broke God's laws, or we would get oppressed, and they would come in and do what they would do. And at any rate, Matthias and his son Judas Maccabee, they went to war. You know, they came in and defiled the temple, and Matthias wouldn't let it stand. And he went to war with them. And then, you know, that's where you get the feast of dedication from, that Christ observed in the New Testament. But if you ask any Christian, well, why did Christ observe Hanukkah? Why did he observe the Feast of Lights, the Feast of Dedication? They can't give you an answer because they don't know that history. But they'll hop over to Paul's epistles and letters, and they'll start talking about, you know, everybody can be saved, that, you know, Cornelius was a white man, and and he gave salvation to the Syrophoenician woman who Christ called a dog. You understand? Like, they don't understand because they don't have the full this is not their records, number one, and they don't have the understanding of the Bible, you know what I mean, historically or spiritually. You understand? So I'm saying that to say that when Paul was talking to them in Corinthians, he said, I would not have you be ignorant how all of our fathers, you know what I'm saying, passed through the Red Sea and were baptized unto Moses. Why would Paul, who was a Benjamite, all right, he was a Roman citizen, like I'm an American citizen, but I'm a Judite. Why would Paul tell white people, you know how all our fathers passed through the Red Sea to the church in Corinth. So now you'll have them say, well, it was a mixture of we weren't saying it wasn't Jews in the church, but it was white people too, because he was called unto the Gentiles, and all Gentiles means is nation. If you look at that word in your blue letter Bible in the Old Testament, you'll see goyim. It's the same translation for that word Gentile in the New Testament. And I'm using these terms for y'all because for whoever else is watching, because we don't call it old and new. It's just our records. All right. But it's the same word. This means nation. And Israel is a nation. So an Israelite can be a Gentile. You understand? But Paul is reminding the church in Corinth of who their fathers were and what happened to them. Because why? They had been raised under Greek ideas. This is why you had Paul at the Hill of Mars. People say, oh, he was quoting Greek authors. Yeah, he was quoting Greek authors because Israelite people living in Greek cities at the time were studying Greek authors because that's what was the thing to do. The same way when you go to college and they have us study Aristotle and Socrates and Nietzsche and all these other philosophers and whatnot. When we go to our high schools and our institutions of education here in America, we're not educated on our culture. We were educated on who? George Washington and John Adams and Benjamin Franklin. The oppressor always will teach the oppressed about his greatness, not about their greatness. You understand? And then when they did teach us about the Bible, what was the appearance that they gave the people of the Bible who were so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Indians? They made them look white. You understand? So even in changing the image, they distorted, our view of ourselves. So just like these scattered Israelites, descendants of those that were in the Greek captivity, their education was Greek education. So Paul said, I became things to all men that I might gain all, meaning that, yeah, he knew about these Greek authors, so he would use what they would say to get them, to draw them in. It was fishing. He was fishing. It was just bait. That's all it was. You understand? I know I'm kind of bearing. I'll be like, dang, we on Sabbath service reading Exodus. You going into all this? Well, such is the truth, man. Here a little, there a little, right? Salakia. All right. But yeah. So, point being is that the people that were in Corinth were Israelites. They were scattered Israelites, man. You understand? The 7 churches, these were Israelites that Paul was dealing with. And the battle between, when it says about the circumcision and the uncircumcision, if you were raised in Greece, right? Because, if you read the Maccabees, it was illegal to call yourself a Jew. You'd be put to death. When, in the records of the Maccabees, the women, the mothers that were circumcising their kids, they would take the kids and kill the kids and then hang the mothers with the kids from the walls. Unalive, Salakia. All right? So they were basically banning circumcision. So you had Israelites who were uncircumcised. And in the law, if you were uncircumcised and not circumcised on the 8th day, you were what? Cut off from your people. So if you're cut off from the Commonwealth of Israel, what are we going to call you? A Gentile, a heathen. You live amongst the heathens and you're not circumcised. You're not our family. I don't care if you come from Israel. That's how the Jews were dealing with our people that were living in those cities. And I'm gonna read this real quick, and then I'm gonna move on. I think we got like seven more verses, and I ain't got nowhere to go today. So if I go a little bit over, it is what it is. Whoever stays, stays. Whoever goes, goes. That's what Christ said to the disciples when he was talking about that flesh and blood. He told the Israelites, he said that hard saying. He said, "Unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you have no life in you." And he had about 5,000 brothers that was with him, and 5,000 brothers left the truth. They said, this is a hard saying. We can't understand it. He talking about some cannibalism. That's how Christians understand the Bible. You understand that, like they would have responded just like how they did. You understand? Because they don't understand. And then Christ looked at the 12 disciples. He said, y'all gonna leave too? Y'all leaving too? Peter was like, where we gonna go? You got the words of life. And that's how I feel about the ISUPK, man. You know what I'm saying? I just pray that the Lord keep me here, man, and keep me in the right spirit and the right mind, because This is where the words of life are at. You know what I'm saying? Under Commander General Yohana, man. So I'm about to read John chapter 7 just to kind of cement this point, and then we're going to move forward. John 7:35. Well, I'm going to start at verse 33. Then Yahushua, Jesus, said unto them, yet a little while am I with you, and then I go unto him that sent me, right? The Father sent Christ. You understand? The Father, the Most High God, the only true God. You understand? All right. Verse 34. You shall seek me and shall not find me. Meaning that, you're going to end up trying to find me. Like when I end up leaving, you're going to be like, where is he at? And where I am, you can't come because you can't. They couldn't go. And Christ went back to the right hand of the Father. You know what I'm saying? In the fourth dimension. You understand? They couldn't follow him there. Verse 35. Then said the Jews, this is what's key. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go? Or whither is where, Old English, whither is where? Where's he going to go? That we shall not find him. Like, where you think he going to go? We can't find him. Right? Will he go unto the dispersed? Now, who are the dispersed? I'm going to show you in a little bit. All right. Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles? Now, in context, these Gentiles that they're talking about, the Jews, are the heathens. But who are the dispersed that are among the heathens? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? This is right. This verse right here is showing you that the Jews referred to their own brethren, the dispersed. And I'm going to show you the dispersed right now. Referred to the dispersed, right? Dispersed Israelites living amongst the Gentiles. They called them Gentiles. And that was Paul's ministry. All right. And that is that simple. And to prove who the dispersed were, we're going to go to Ezekiel 36 really quick. And then I'm going to get back and finish these last 7. And then we done. I got time today. All right. Ezekiel 36. We'll start at verse. Good night. This is really, if I really were to get into this, but I'm not. But I'm about to do a class on this. This is gonna cut all that Revelations 7 and 10 and 5 and 10. It's all nations before the throne. I'll deal with that later. But I'm gonna. Okay. This is Ezekiel 36, verse 17. Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way and by their doings. Their way was before me as the uncleanness of a removed woman, meaning that like a woman on her cycle, right? Like her, what women use to receive their flower, right? That's how the Lord looked at us, like for lack of a better term, a used tampon or a used pad. That's how the Lord looked at us when we went and did the works of the heathens and followed after their gods and their celebrations, Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day, all this paganism. That's how he looked at us, like a used pad. All right. Wherefore I poured my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land and for their idols wherewith they had polluted it. Verse 19. And I scattered them among the heathens, and they were dispersed. Shall he go to the dispersed? And I scattered them, and we say that the Gentiles that Paul was going to were scattered Israelites. That's not true. You making that up. You taking the Bible out of context. It's clear as day. There's no Jew nor Greek, male nor female, bond or free, but all are one in Christ. That's talking about everybody. Whither will he go? that we will not find him? Will he go to the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? And I scattered them among the heathens, and they were dispersed through the countries. According to their way and according to their doings, I judged them. And when they entered in unto the heathen, whither they went, when they went to go live amongst the heathens, they profaned my holy name when they said to them, these are the people of the Lord. See, the Lord has a people. Everybody is not the Lord's people. The people of the Lord are the Israelites, the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. These are the people of the Lord. And the people of the Lord went amongst the heathens. Heathens cannot ever be the people of the Lord. Never. A saint is an Israelite. And under this time period, a saint is a repentant Israelite. Okay? Repentant meaning you have stopped transgressing the law. You have stopped sinning. All right. And when they said to them, these are the people of the Lord and are gone forth out of his land. But I had pity for my holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen whither they went. I'm going to drop down real quick. And this is where Paul comes in, Paul's ministry, to verse 24. He said, for I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries and will bring you into your own land. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you. What's that clean water? The truth. This is the clean water is the water that Christ was talking about, right? That if a man believeth on me, out of his belly shall flow what? Rivers of living water. What is the living water? It's the water that you see in Ephesians, right? You get washed with the water of the word. When you wash yourself with the truth of God. If you're a Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, you've been celebrating Christmas, Independence Day, your birthday, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Women's Month, whatever, right? All these things that the heathens come up with because they don't have a God to worship, right? When you find out the truth that the Lord detests all those feast days and he hates them, and the smell of it, when you're barbecuing on July, Independence Day, the smell of the smoke, it disgusts them. When you cleanse yourself from that, right, and you take on the truth, then you get his spirit instead of the spirit of the world. And we'll see it right here. Then I will sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from all your idols will I cleanse you. That's the baptism of the Spirit. We're just going to prove it right here, verse 26. And a new heart, and in the scriptures, heart means mind. And a new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh, and I will put my spirit within you. To who? The Israelites. Heathens cannot get the Holy Spirit. That silly dancing that y'all do, or when you fake prophesying. No, there's never been a Israelite of the Caucasian race. There's never been there's never been a Salakia. The Holy Spirit has never been inside of an East Indian. It's never been inside of a Caucasian. It's never been inside of a African. A Chinese person, right? The Spirit of God can only dwell within so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All right. And what does having the Spirit make you do? We're about to see right now. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. When you have the Holy Spirit, you're going to keep God's commandments. You're going to keep the law. That's what the Spirit ain't something that just, have you, I feel like going over here today and just doing this. And I'm just led of the Spirit. The Spirit is going to, the Bible says that the law is spiritual. That's what Paul said. He said the law is spiritual. And those that are led by the Spirit of God are called the sons of God. Why? Because the Spirit of God is going to have you keep the law. And the law was only given to the children of Israel. And those are the children of God, the children of promise. All right, not the children of the flesh. All right, y'all make it like, oh, flesh is like some like it's a division of, if you walk in the flesh, if you're fleshly, then you're not a child of God. Like it's universal. No, it's not talking about that. That's not what Paul was talking about. When he said children of the flesh, he was talking about Abraham's other kids. Isaac wasn't Abraham's only son. He had a son with Hagar, Ishmael, and then he had 6 more sons with Keturah, or maybe even 7. Midian being one of them. And if you remember, the Midianites is who oppressed the Israelites when Gideon had to fight against them. That was one of Abraham's sons that was fighting against the Israelites. You understand? The Edomites, that was a son of Isaac fighting against the Israelites. Amalek was a tribe out of Edom, and they went and attacked us from behind, leaving Egypt, and killed men, women, and elderly people. Killed women, children, and elderly people from behind us. And that's why the Lord said, I have war with Amalek from generation to generation. You know who Amalek is? The so-called Jewish man. That's a fact. All right. So just because they were the sons of Abraham does not make them the children of God, but the children of the promise. And who was the promise given to? Right before the Lord was going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, you know what I'm saying, or the angels, they said, Sarah, you're going to have a son. It was a child of promise. By this time next year, you're going to have a son. And who was that son? Isaac. And then Paul goes into it even further in Romans 9. He says, and then even with Isaac, with Rebekah, right? She had twins. 2 nations are in thy womb, and they're at war in your womb. She was having a hard pregnancy. What was going on? They're at war because why? The Lord was separating Jacob from Esau. Jacob have I loved, Esau, the so-called white man, have I hated. It's just the Bible. You can't get, people get mad. You twisting them. No, it's just the records, man. That's why Paul said, or Peter said, he that despiseth man, you don't despise man, you despise God. I'm just saying what the Lord said. All right. So let me stop there. I just want to get that. I had to get that breakdown real quick. Let me get back to this. All right, Exodus 28:3, and thou shalt speak unto all that are wise-hearted, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom, that they may make Aaron's garments to consecrate him, that he may minister unto me in the priest office. So, like I said, people will be mocking us and what we wear and saying that we're superheroes, and we're Power Rangers, we're superheroes. You understand? But these are priest garments. So when you see these Christian Israelites with the T-shirts and with the little hula hoop skirt, things on the ends, that's not a garment. T-shirts are not a garment. Pants are not a garment. A garment is something that is made specifically, from the records of from our records, that is what a priest would wear in the service of the Lord. You understand? When he's doing the Lord's work, not a T-shirt with little things on the end. That's not. That's how you know those brothers are not in the truth. They don't understand what's going on. All right, a garment is an actual garment. It's a specific thing, and you've seen that right here. All right, verse 4. And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate and an ephod and a robe and a embroidered coat. So now he's saying right here what a garment is. He didn't say a T-shirt. He didn't say a T-shirt. An undergarment, right? Or just clothes. He said a breastplate, right? And an ephod and a robe. So when you see us with the robes and all that, you know what I'm saying? Not like, you understand what I'm saying? Not like the Muslims be wearing, but like a robe, right? A broidered coat, a mitri, right? I mean, this is not a mitri, this is a war scarf, but you see this with the mitris, right? The tunics or the head wraps, right? And they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest office. All right. And they shall take gold, blue, purple, scarlet, and fine linen. All right. So we're gonna stop there. I don't see what this Jamie J before I get up out of here. These comments. He had a whole lot to say. Shout out to Sis Kadasha. Shalom, Lord in Christ. Black people are not suffering from the oppressor. They are suffering because they are full of anger and have low moral character. Also a lack of male. I don't disagree with the last part of what you said, but to say that's not because of white people, you're foolish. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, just in a quick example of that is Black Wall Street. There was there was male role models in Black Wall Street. They had high moral character, own hospitals, own airports, movie theaters, big construction businesses. These are people who had trades. They came out of slavery with trades. And in the middle of the Dust Bowl in the 1930s, the Great Depression, they were a thriving community. And the oppressor, this is in the 1930s. I mean, we're like maybe 100, almost 100 years removed. They came in and destroyed the community. So to say that it's not white people, I don't know what your race is. I mean, you sound like you're a black person, could possibly, but I don't know. But you're foolish. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking nonsense. The last part I agree with, but even those problems that we have as far as like a lack of male role models, that's also a result of the oppressor. You know what I'm saying? When they came in with the what program was that? The program that to help people, you know what I'm saying, with like food stamps and whatnot. And part of the requirement was, and I can't remember exactly the name of the program right now at the time, but when you watch the movie Claudine, you see it. If you were taking assistance from the government, you couldn't have a man in the home. And that's where it started to plant the seeds of that. So even all the things that you're bringing up, you know what I'm saying, you said they're because they're full of anger and have low moral character. Well, look who their teacher is. You saying that that white people have high moral character? The murderer of 70 million Native Indians, right? The people who enslaved over and unalived over 99 million so-called Negroes in the transatlantic slave trade, they have high moral character. You just sound foolish. You understand? So I don't even know why you came in with those comments like that. Nobody wants to deal with blacks because they are lazy. So we were lazy. So white people weren't lazy having slaves? Working from no sun to no sun, right? Getting up before the sun rose and not stopping to work till after the sun set, picking cotton. You know, America is only great because of the slave labor of so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. How are we lazy? The essential workers during COVID, was that white people? It was blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians still doing the essential jobs in COVID when everybody was ordered to stay home. What are you talking about? You're saying that Hispanics are lazy? You just sound foolish. Nobody wants to deal with blacks because they're lazy. Listen, we don't give it. First of all, I don't even know why these. You sound like you probably from a different nationality, but I don't know why these other races think that we give a damn about dealing with y'all. Like it's funny like that if this is a so-called oppressor, it's funny how y'all believe that we want to measure up to your standard. You are as Christ said, you guys are dogs. We're not trying to live up to you. We're trying to live up to the standard of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? We fallen short of His glory, and that's an indictment against us because He gave us the format and the culture. And said that we're better than all y'all, every other race on the planet. That's Deuteronomy 7:6. That we're better than all y'all, and we fell off of that because we wanted to be like y'all and deal with y'all, and then look and dealing with y'all. Now you saying we don't want to deal with y'all? It's crazy. That's why he say in the scriptures, the prophet Jeremiah was like, "All your lovers have forsaken you." You know what I'm saying? Talking about these other nations. Don't nobody give a damn about that. Clown. Nasty, angry, and they have no love for anyone. They don't tip. So this must be a white service worker or waitress or something. They don't tip. I'm not tipping none of y'all. You listen, you can listen. You know what? And what you just, I don't know if you're a male or female, but what you just did, well, never mind, Salaki. Let me stop. I think General Muhammad said we need to do that. I'm gonna just chill. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm about to say, because you about to make it to where I never do it again. But I'm gonna chill. I listen to the men above me. This foolishness is just another hateful, low IQ mess cooked up from white envy. White envy. What do y'all do well? Do y'all cook well? Do y'all make good food? Do y'all look good? You look uncooked, pale, paste. Like what is there to envy about y'all? And I'm gonna tell you, you know what? In a way, Jamie is kind of correct because Puffy envied y'all. Puff Daddy envied y'all, and you see where he's at. He envied y'all and tried to think he could be a Hugh Hefner, a sexual deviant. You understand? Or a Epstein. What's the envy about y'all? The Bible calls you the devil. All right. So when Christ was talking to the Israelites, to our people, he said, "You are of your father, the devil." You're the Romans at the time were, and the Greeks were ruling over Israelites, and he said, "You were of your father, the devil," because you won't fulfill all of his ways, and all of his lusts you will fulfill. You're a lustful, wicked people. The Bible calls you like the porter of wickedness, the people against whom the Lord has indignation forever. You're nobody to envy. And I'm gonna be real with you, and I'm saying this not even with like on some like with hubris. All you have coming towards you is judgment. We trust me, we do not envy you, but some of our people who don't have the knowledge of the truth, they do, and then they end up getting put in predicaments like Puff Daddy because, or like what's his name, the Shay Shay brother, whatever, dealing with y'all. You understand? Like we always end up losing dealing with you or trying to envy you and be like you. You understand? But as far as us, in the truth, we don't envy you at all. We look at you like nothing, like how the Bible says, you're nothing. You're less than spittle. You understand? Like you're nothing. The only reason why you're in this position for you to even speak the way you speak, and it's true, you can't speak like that because, like in Isaiah 49, it says, the kings and queens of the kings and queens, you know what I'm saying, shall be thy nursing mothers. Meaning that right now you are, if you're a female, Jamie, or if you're a male, right, you're a king or a queen in the earth because this is your world, right? So you can talk like that, but the only reason why you're in that position is because we disobeyed our power. That's it. That's it. The Lord don't got no, he don't like you. You're just a lesson for us to never go against him again. And then when, eventually your world is going to end, and we're at that time, it's almost over. Your world is going to end, right? The end of the world is Esau, and the beginning of that which follows is Jacob. And our kingdom is going to be forever. It will never have to deal with y'all being in power and control ever again. And trust me, the whole earth is going to rejoice. The animals are going to be happy. The animals, the trees, the clouds, the ground, they're all going to be happy because you'll be out of power. You understand? Because that's all you do is destroy everything. You know what I'm saying? No sweat. No, and I do agree with that. Segregation makes perfect sense because the Lord wanted us segregated from y'all. That's a fact. So I agree with that. But we're not Africans, so I don't know why you bring up the Congo. We're not Africans. We're Israelites. All right. Shout out to Nahar. Shout out to Sister Mariam. Itazagubar. Shout out to you as well. I'm saying I hope y'all get to OKC safely and bring it back wet. But with that, I'm gonna go ahead and close out. I Mijum. It's like you're gonna salute the Torah. Yahweh Bashim Yah Shai Brak Yah. La Yasha'Allah to Israel. Sar Wahakwadam, which means to turn and face the east. We're going to do the prayers. It's the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malat Waka, Taba'a, Ratazayaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashemayim, Nathanlanawa, Lakum, Call, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawafnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawafyanawa, Wala'a, Tabayayanawa, Banasaya 1, Abal, Hiwashainawa, Mayan, Ra'ah, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha Allah, Wahata Pa Ra, La'ai Walamyam, Aman. In the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. So be it. It's the prayer of the Hakak in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Baba Koshah, Nathan Lanawa, Hakak, Lara Pa'a, Kal Makala, Wakal Marawa, Hakak, Latahar, Ha Matazarium, Hakak, Lahakuyum, Hamathium, Hakak, Arakawa, Hata Ma'ala, Lagar Shun, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Thawada Amun. In the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. The prayer to bless Israel. Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Barak Lanawa, Wa Yasha'Allah, Waha Bayaf Saparium, Barak, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Thawada Amun. In the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless us and Israel and the school. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha Ayanya, Ahaharium, Ma'ayan, Yaba'a Azaria, Ma'aim, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayim, Shalakia, Aisha, Shamayim, Wa'arataza, Al Yathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasha'Allah, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al Yad, Yamyanka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'a, Yakayaka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal Ra'ai, Yashamar, Aknapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'athka, Wabawa'aka, Ma'athai, Wa'aid Awalam. In the English, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and even forevermore. This is Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, Al Damayelaka, Al Thakarash, Wa Al Thashakwat, Al Kayahana, Awiyabika, Yahama Yawan, Wa Mashanayaka, Sha'a Waraash Al Imaka, Ya'arayamwa, Sawad, Wayata Salakia, Wayata Atazawa, Al Tazafawanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakyadum, Magalia, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham Yasha'Allah, Iwad, Kaya, Naatazawa, Lab Yakadwa, Alyaka, Barya, Yakarthawa, Ahalya, Adawam, Wa Yashama'alyam, Mawa'aba, Wa Hagarium, Gabal, Wa Amawan, Wa Amalak, Palashat, Am Yashabya, Tazawar, Gamashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zarawai, Labanya, Lawat, Salah, Aisha, Lahum, Kamadian, Kasaya Sarah, Kayabian, Banakar, Kwayashwan, Nashamadwa, Ba'ayan, Da'ira, Hayawa, Dama, Daman, La Adama, Shayathamwa, Nadabya Mawa, Ka'arab, Wa Kazaba, Wa Kazabak, Wa Kal Tazamanai, Call Nasakamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Na Yarashah, Nasakamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Na Salakia, Lanawa, Afnawaf, Alahayam, Alahaya, Shayathamwa, Kagalgala, Kakwash, La Panya, Rawaka, Kaash, Taba Arya Ira, Wakala Haba, Thalahat, Haryum, Kam, Tharadatma, Basa Irika, Wa Basa Wapapka, Thabalahum, Mala'a, Panyahum, Kwalawan, Wayaba Kwashwa, Shemka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Wa Yabalwa, Ayai, Waya Kaparwa, Waya Abidwa, Waya Yadaiwa, Kaya Atha Shemka, Yahawa, Labadka, Al Yawan, Al Kaharataza. In the English, Psalms 83. Keep not thy silence, O power, and hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur is also joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as unto Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, and like Zeeb, yea, all their princes as Zabah, and as Zalmunna, who said, Let us take to ourselves the houses of the power in possession. O my power, make them like the wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burn up the wood, as the flame set up the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm, and fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. This is the prayer of the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Wa Mayaka Allah, Wa Alahayim, Matazabaya, Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapium, Ha Saranium, Ha Kotazayanium, Ha Kayayim, Wa Ha Akwathian, Yahweh, Ba Shim Yahweh Shai, the Wada Amun. In the English, bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yohana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. This is the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, and the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the Edomites and the nations and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, the Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, posse comitatus, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space programs, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street. Open up the internet and the airwaves, the cable access channels, and the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plagues shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahushai, Michael, and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media, throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahushai, thank you always. So be it. tonight. I ain't going out like that. I'm going to give a courtesy salute to the Akim, men of Israel, Ahmad Shabbat, Ahmijim, Barak, Yahal Bashem Yah Shah Brakatah, Yazamata, Sar, means to turn, face the sisters, men of Israel, Ahmijim Shabbat, Ahmijim, Barak, Yahweh Shemalathan Bashem Yah Shad, Yazamata, class dismissed.